Hello, welcome to the new podcast, a new episode of the Next Move with Venkat. Now, today we have an amazing guest with us, Mr. Jordan, who is the director of the Phyz Factory. Welcome, Jordan.
Hey, thank you for having me on.
Jordan, can you please tell us about yourself and about the Phyz Factory?
Yeah, so for myself, let's call it a multifaceted individual. I'm a contracted basketball player, I'm a Royal Marine, and I also have a business called Phyz Factory. And then I've also helped my wife we've opened a Pilates studio between the family, so my wife, a brother-in-law, and everything else. So it's I never always had an interest in business as a whole. It was a relatively new thing, but which came as a result of me starting my own. And the reason that I started my own being Phyz Factory was just as a result of helping people. It was something that I was doing on a day-to-day basis. It was something whereby I would help people get into shape. I would help people with their mindset. And it was all things that I had to go on a journey myself to sort of find out about. And I've always been in shape, and my mindset has always been something that people have thought is very strong. But I didn't really understand the things that I did in order to get there. So when I went on my own journey of making my subconscious conscious, it sort of fell into place. And then it kind of fell into me starting a business, just monetizing something that I was already doing and a passion of mine.
So, did you work in the military?
Yeah, so I'm actually officially still in the military. So I'm still in the Royal Marines, which is where a lot of the sort of way that we go down is, using a lot of the things that I've also learned in the military. And I also was obviously a basketball player as well. So, being in an elite sporting environment and a highly regarded military environment, it's definitely, helped for me to take both of those options and both of those avenues and apply them to my business.
So, you have pretty much fascinating career, I would say. Military is a kind of not an easy job. So,
For sure.
do you have any specific motivation behind joining the military?
I always said that if basketball wasn't fun to me anymore and if basketball wasn't working out, then I would join the Royal Marines. And this is something that kind of happened. I think my motivation was, I heard my parents were both police officers. I heard a lot of the stories that they had. Our time at dinner tables was very different to a lot of my friends. And I used to love sitting there, listening to their stories, hearing their stories, but also seeing the respect that they generated off their stories and the excitement that they got speaking about them. And that was essentially something that I wanted for myself. And sort of when looking into the military, the Green Beret and specifically the Royal Marines it's something that encapsulated a lot of the shared sort of morals and values that we were brought up to believe in. So that was something that I definitely wanted for myself.
Yeah, got it. So tell us about how does your typical day looks like with specific to the Phyz Factory. So you have two different kinds of kinds of works to do. Like one is military and one is running this Phyz Factory business.
Yeah, perfect. So it definitely looks very different. So I think one of the key things is to practice what I preach. Now, I love fitness, and it's something that, I've not long had surgery, and, my first thing is, how can I get back into the gym? How can I make the most out of a bad situation? How do I still allow myself to move forward, or at least maintain, or at least if I am regressing, make it as slow as possible by continuing to do the things that I can do and putting a focus into the things that I can rather than things that I can't. Now, so first and foremost, I would always try to start the day off in the right frame of mind. I would usually first thing start replying to the messages that I have, things that I have going on, and that would be very, very swiftly followed by a workout. It's been very difficult recently because I haven't been able to drive, so I haven't been able to get to the gym. So I've literally got a kettlebell, living room, maybe put on a podcast that I like to listen to and do some of the stuff that I can. Following from there, I usually kick on. It depends on the day, but I usually kick on with some programming, get that out of the way nice and early, making sure that all my clients are in the right place and making sure that their physical and mental program that's for them is set out in the right way, and also making sure that I get onto it early because, you know, if any questions come up about the day, it means that we can deal with it there. From there, we'll also obviously be taking on calls. So we have different elements to it. So that could be life coaching calls, could be mindset. We could be looking at events that clients have coming up. All these things come into it. And alongside all this, obviously, I think when you are a business owner, especially sort of in its infancy, there are so many different things that you need to keep up with, and you kind of have to wear multiple hats, whether that is, you know, learn about marketing, learn about your business development, actually the fulfillment, which takes a lot. And, you know, it's so easy to fall in love with the building the business and the marketing of it that you could easily neglect the fulfillment. But if you neglect the fulfillment, then people, you know, you're paying clients are not getting the service that they've signed up for, not getting the service that you sold to them. And for me, that's an absolute non-starter because I am a man of my word and I like to make sure that everybody gets absolutely 100% what they come in expecting. For me, it's throughout their entire journey. I don't want it ever to slip off just because they're comfortable. I want them to know that I am there for them. You know, when you're going through all these different things and making sure that you're staying on top of the finance side, and you know, unfortunately, I've got, you know, I didn't know the first thing, but I've got some good accountant friends that are helping me out with that. So all of these things coming into it, I think it's a constant learning curve. So when I've sort of gone through the fulfillment and then gone into the, you know, the marketing, what's the next plays, what campaigns can we run, all of these things sort of come together. And yeah, it can be very, very long days, but I usually finish off sort of in the evening, switching off, reading a book, just trying to disconnect. Although the book I'm reading at the minute is about business. So,
Mm,
you know, maybe not switching off, but I'm really fortunate that my wife also has a business. So I've been able to learn a hell of a lot from her along
yeah,
the way.
yeah. You're doing such an amazing job, like helping people to achieve their, I would say, like dream physique or tuning their mindset. You're working on a lot of things, not only something related to the transforming the physics. So to know more about the Phyz Factory, so how it is different from the traditional fitness training?
So first and foremost, I always say to people that I can make you the fittest person in the world, but if you're not happy in doing so and you don't have a confidence that is worth far more than looking in the mirror or how people look at you, then what is the point in this? Like, where is the fulfillment coming? How are you really designing your life and engineering the life that you want to leave, the legacy that you want to leave, to be the person that you want to be? All of these things come into it. So when we first started out, I was hemorrhaging money because I had gone to some nutritionists that I'd worked with myself that I think are potentially some of the best in the country, if not the best in the country. I went to some guys that I know for rehab, and we essentially put in like a nutrition team and a nutrition element to the program, a rehab element to the program. So if anybody has niggles, if anybody got injuries, they can jump on a call straight away, get the injury consultations. I have a massive background in coaching as well. Like I did my coaching qualifications in terms of life coaching through the Royal Navy Leadership Academy. So I wanted to put something together that wasn't just a fitness plan that's there and people just go to the gym and it kind of wears off. I wanted to put something that genuinely changes people's life. Now, don't get me wrong, we have people that, you know, they are kind of swept up in all the other areas and they just want the fitness element. That's something that we absolutely can provide. But there's so many people that come in thinking they just wanted that, but then when they have chat with our great community and they're speaking to people, they actually realize there's far more that they're getting out of this than just their physical transformation. So we definitely are different because we don't just take on the aesthetics. It will never be a case of sign up with us and we'll get you a photo shoot and you look really good. Because if said person gets injured and they're not able to keep, you know, stay in a calorie deficit or make their physique look incredible, then where is their confidence coming from? So we focus on the functionality and the output over the aesthetic because that is something that we value far more. We also know, and, you know, science dictates this, that generally when your output is pretty good and when you're performing at a high level, the aesthetic side to it comes as a byproduct to all of the work you're putting in.
Yeah, yeah, got it. So do you offer only online services or offline services or both?
So yeah, so we are completely online.
Mm.
We everything's online. So the way it works is like we'll jump on an initial call, make sure that we're both a good fit for each other, because it's really easy for us to be like, yeah, we'll take you on. But actually, if you're not a good fit for us, and
Mm.
we might not be a good fit for you, there's no point. There's no point in anybody wasting their time. We will provide the most incredible amount of guidance, but what we can't do is we can't do the work for the people. That's what we kind of want to decipher on our initial calls with people. And then from there, they will have, if they choose to come on board with us, when they choose to come on board with us, they'll jump on, have a nutrition consultation. If they've had an injury recently and we think it might be good, they might have a rehab consultation. And we make sure that their programming completely reflects that. Following that, they'll then have an onboarding call. We'll go through their life, in-depth habits, like what things are we looking to implement, what times can we set an alarm on their phone through the app that we use to remind them to do these things? Can we get people to, simple things like if somebody's in a negative frame of mind, get them to put a post-it note on their bathroom mirror, asking them what went well for them today, because that the last thoughts before they then go to bed is, oh, this went well for me today, rather than being in a negative headspace. It's so easy to notice the negatives over the positives. So all of these things we take care of online. They have a bunch of one-to-one access with me via WhatsApp, and also they can book in calls. And also we have a great community. We do actually offer in-person events. So we've done things like we've taken a group to Snowdon, where we've done scrambling, we've done rock climbing, we've done abseiling, we've done some Royal Marines vertical assault with some mountain leader friends that I have in the Royal Marines. We've also done training days at gyms where we've all got together. We've had a mindset talk, we've had a nutrition workshop, we've had rehab workshop, we've had a lifting workshop, and done a full conditioning session together. These things are really important to allow people to see other people. Like one of my clients said it to me yesterday. He just said the best thing about it is you're just in a group where everybody wants to do something for themselves and they all want more for themselves. And when you surround yourself with people like that, you become you're surrounded by this circle, and that's what you
Yeah.
become. So, we try to put people in a position where they can meet the people that they might be chatting with online, and really help them within their journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. So if we want to talk about the trends in the industry, the fitness industry specific, what kind of changes or the shifts you are seeing now in the fitness industry, to be specific?
So I think the biggest thing right now is definitely the emergence of the functional fitness races. So High Rocks, Deca, and there's a lot of smaller ones that are coming up. And I think it's a really, really good thing, because earlier on I spoke about we train people for their output and their functionality over the aesthetic. So this actually gives people the opportunity to not just train, but train with a purpose, to train to be competitive, to do something that they're really proud of, to do something that their kids can watch them do. And it really gives them a great measure and a great baseline to go off, to be able to then go and improve. And it also helps with motivation. So I think there's a massive sort of change towards this, and it's almost like a performance culture without it being a
Mm.
fully performance sport. And I think it's a really good thing. I do think there is a lot of people that are maybe masking other issues by competing so much, which means they don't actually deal with other things that they have going on in their life, because they almost have an obsession and develop an obsession with competing all the time and really training almost too hard all the time, which isn't stopping them. Sorry, which is stopping them from dealing with other things that they have going on in their life. So I do think that does come up, but ultimately, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. We couldn't call it a vice, because it's not an excessively bad thing unless we're overtraining. So yeah, I think there's a massive change towards this. I think obviously ultimately there is a lot of people out there that are still looking for the weight loss transformation, but in the health and well-being arena at the minute, it's definitely something that's on the tip of people's tongue. Everybody is getting into this health thing. We're seeing you know nightlife is definitely struggling as a result of this, because run clubs are the new nightclubs, and this is what's happening. So I think people are realizing that you can have a social element to this training, and it doesn't
Mm.
have to make you a boring person in doing so.
Yeah, yeah. So how does a person's mindset, individuals, like if a person who is working very hard throughout the day, so he's burnout by the end of the day, and there is another person who is doing a kind of work which is related to everything related to his mind work, but he is exhausted by the end of the day. Does these kind of elements affect the program, the fitness programs?
Well, first and foremost, there's two things here. So, firstly, we want to make sure that they're able to enjoy the program, so
Mm.
they will find a way to get it in their day, because enjoyment is, there's so many studies done that suggest that enjoyment is a massive factor in being able to reap the rewards and to be successful in the things that you want to go and achieve. The other side to that is we have to make it realistic for people. Now, if you are somebody in the corporate world that's working 12-hour days and you're really struggling to fit the time in now, what can we do to make this a realistic schedule? And then if your schedule does get on top, how do we reduce the scope but keep the schedule? If you don't have an hour to train, you don't have 60 minutes to train, you've only got 30 minutes. Can we still keep that 30 minutes in a day rather than having an all or nothing mentality?
Mhm.
Let's get that 30 minutes done rather than the 60, where we've kept on the same schedule so the habit's still there, rather than getting into a funk and then missing a bunch of sessions. But we want to make sure that, we have people that train 3 times a week. We have people that have 10 to 11 sessions a week because they'll
Mhm.
double train on some days. So it's really about just making it work for the individual,
Yeah.
because also when you are into these habits and when ultimately you end up with more energy anyway. So, one thing that tends to happen is people neglect themselves when they're trying to achieve other things, but then actually their output is hampered anyway. So they might be spending 8 hours at their laptop, but if they had been working out and they're in a better headspace, they might have only needed to spend 5 hours because they're functioning at a much higher level.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something is better than nothing. At least working
Absolutely.
for 3 to 4 hours every week might make a lot of difference.
Absolutely, and that reduced the scope and keep the schedule. That comes from somebody that I really look up to, James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, and it's just
Mm.
about how we solidify these habits. And rather than having this all or nothing mentality where we can fall out of the habits, just if we reduce the amount but we still do it a little bit, then we're still winning. We're still up.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely makes sense. So, what kind of role does the community play in the fitness journey for an individual?
So I think a lot of the people that sign up with us, they might not be in circles that is really dominated by people on a health journey, on a fitness journey, on a life fulfillment journey. So it's very easy for me to talk about it because a lot of my circle, a lot of my sphere is that, but that's because of you know, what I work in. It's something that I'm around all the time. So it's easy for me to think that everybody's in that position, but not everybody is. And what we see is people being able to bounce off each other. We see it time and time again. Somebody will post their run into the group chat, and then somebody else that might not have been feeling their run on that day might be struggling for motivation. It's like, oh, do you know what? Seeing that has just made me want to get out. Uh, people encouraging each other every time somebody completes an event, every time somebody has hit a goal that we've set, try and get them to message in the group chat and everybody celebrates it together. So I think surrounding yourself with a bunch of like-minded people that really want to do a lot for themselves really helps, because it's, we like to go on this journey together, and you might not want to talk to the people that are immediately around you because they might not understand, or if that's not being your personality, they might not think that you're capable. So when we put you in a community of people that just want to see the best for each other because they want the best for themselves as well, it really helps. It radiates amongst the group. It bounce off each other. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, if we surround with like-minded people who is working on the same kind of mission, definitely it is going to make a lot of difference.
It's what they say, isn't it, about
Mm.
being a product of your environment, and
Yeah.
you're only as good as your circle. So having a situation where there's a bunch of different people that you've never even met before, there's no judgment, there's a bit of banter in there, and all this comes out is super helpful. And also, there's also a bunch of other people. So like one of my clients the other day has never run an ultra marathon, and he's just decided, I might actually want to run an ultra marathon. So he puts in a group chat, who in here is running an ultra? From there, a bunch of people messaging back. It might be somebody that's trying to join the Royal Marines. It might be somebody that is doing a Hyrox for the first time. Like, they have other people that they can speak to based on their experience. And happy, I know that people in our group chat have personal relationships now where they are, I spoke to one of my clients yesterday, and he's going to meet up with another one of his, my clients, to go and do a run together. They don't even live close to each other, but they're meeting halfway and they're going for a run together because they're similar age, they've gone through similar stuff. So it's definitely helpful to gain those connections.
Yeah, yeah,
I
completely
think
makes sense.
there's something called the loneliness chapter as well, which tends to hit people, tends to be sort of late 30s. And as adults, we enter this space, don't we, where a lot of our friends are either sort of going one way or they're going the other. And it's not, it's not uncommon for one person to be going in the health route and everybody else just sort of like going away from that. So I think what it does is it takes away that loneliness chapter where you're on this journey and you really, really want more for yourself. You're just around a bunch of other people that want more for themselves and aren't happy and just settling where they are.
Yeah, yeah. So if we talk about the current state of the Phyz Factory, so you've been working with many clients now. So what is really working for you and the Phyz Factory?
In terms of,
Maybe any kind of business strategy if you would like to share.
okay. Yeah, so for sure. So this, and I would like to say, like, I am absolutely no expert in this. I didn't do business in school. I didn't study. A lot of this has been as a result of me investing in mentorships for myself and learning and investing in sort of marketing education, because I really had no idea. Like, I really know that we have had this great product, but I had no idea how to get it out there. And I just kind of thought, oh, it's going to come to me. I think in the Royal Marines, and when you come out of professional sport, you kind of think everybody will want to get trained by us because of what we've done. And the reality is no one cares. Like, no one really cares. It doesn't say what they're going to do for them. And also, it can really scare people. So it's really difficult. The first and foremost, it was so important to nail who we were talking to. And that's that audience that, they're not solely driven by how they look. Obviously, everybody likes to have that sort of their ego stroked and that confidence that comes from how you look, but they want more for themselves. They want to be more fulfilled. So first and foremost, it was really about who are we speaking to. From there, fortunately, I'd built up with some of my business partners an Instagram account that had picked up a decent amount of followers. I think only like 8,000-9,000, and it was kind of a case of how do we market to these people? And it was like, all right, again, it's like, oh, we're nearly at 10K. Like, this is going to be easy. And then it turned out these people don't really care as well. So it was definitely a lot of learning. So for me now, it's definitely about how do we really speak to the people that want the outcome of what we're providing, the guidance we're providing, not us hammering home like this is how we do it. It's actually, right, we can get you to this outcome first and foremost, and then this is how we do it. So, there's a lot of social media work, making sure that the landing pages are pretty crisp and making sure that they can see real results off other people. So testimonials, making sure that people can really see all this type of stuff, and then get that out there via our email list and the social media channels to make it, the hardest thing is, I think, when you have a background like I have, people are really scared because they just think I'm going to be trying to thrash and beast them or whatever you want to call it. But it's not the case. We adapt to every single person that we have. We've got, we've had mums that have been not trained for years that are doing triathlons or doing Hyroxes. We've had young people, 19, joining the Royal Marines, joining the other armed forces. We've had 48-year-olds running ultra marathons and all these things. So it's definitely a difficult audience to capture because there's so many different things. But ultimately, it comes down to one thing. If you want to have high function and have a high output, we can definitely help you out.
Yeah, yeah. Coming from a non-business background, but how you are doing is definitely kind of impressive in terms of the business aspect. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super difficult. I've got a great agency that I work with that are based in Argentina. They are very, very good. There's been a lot of learning through them, a lot of, content consuming by myself to understand how all of this works and what looks good, what doesn't. And I'm definitely not where I want to be, and I won't pretend to be. I'm like to people that I'm where I want to be. I have really big goals for this business. I'm learning every day, and it's just, I think the really important thing is about investing in your marketing and understanding your marketing, because it's great if you can do it all organically, but trying to understand it all is the key thing here. And some people are really good at it with not a lot of trying. I'm not that person. I'm not the creative person. I definitely find that a difficult space. So I think when you can identify your weaknesses and your bottlenecks within your business and then try and address them in a succinct way, it will really help you out.
Yeah, yeah, got it. So let's talk about future goals for you and the Phyz Factory. So what are your plans for next 6 to 12 months? How do you want to shape the Phyz Factory?
Yeah, for sure. The next thing, so obviously we have the nutrition team, we have the rehab team. The next thing that I would like to do is bring in 1 to 2 more coaches to get a hold of the programming. I definitely want them to have a lot of great experience as well, to make sure that we are providing the finest quality. And then just continue to build. We want to make our in-person events a lot more often, a lot bigger. We want to basically make sure that we are able to provide the value to these people. I also have another business as well that I've kind of separated with the Clarity Code. So, from a selfish standpoint, like I kind of love the performance coaching element of things, and I'm now working with a rugby club and my public speaking and keynote speaking as well. So being able to just have this business thriving, Phyz Factory thriving, so I can continue to grow it and I can still have input, because I don't want it to lose the personal touch, but definitely making sure that we have the best coaches across the board. So it's about obviously bringing more people in and just making sure that we continue to scale in a manner that doesn't kill the business as well.
Yeah, yeah. Are you also planning to introduce any new coaching plans?
Yeah, so we have so through Phyz Factory, we have our elite performance coaching program. We have different campaigns that we run as well, where we might have like 60-day resets and this type of thing. So we can adapt to everybody's goal. And then the other side to it, which will mainly run through the Clarity Code, is the life coaching element. Now that it doesn't contain a physical program. That'll be one-to-one calls where you'll get an email afterwards, you'll get action steps. We'll utilize different frameworks to help you work in the most efficient manner for yourself. Now that could be to deal with, like, we've dealt with so many like family issues, career changes, confidence, like all these things come into it. So, yeah, we do have a low ticket offer as well, where it's not sort of one-to-one coaching between us, but we have a very, very good program online that people can follow. It's far cheaper than our one-to-one option. But what people then get from that is they get clear, structured programming by great coaches. And that's something they can follow on a daily basis for a fraction of the price. It's really good for people that are already motivated, people that just want some direction with their training. And it's essentially there for them to be built for absolutely everything that life throws at them.
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of the business, you've been doing the marketing campaigns, you're handling the Instagram page for the Phyz Factory and all. You might have few challenges which you overcome. Maybe you are still facing few problems. So if you have one problem, one challenge, or if you want to solve one challenge immediately, what it can be?
I would say the amount of sort of hot leads coming into the business. The reason that I say that is because I don't think we do, and this is part of my journey and in terms of marketing and everything else, I don't think we do a good enough job about people really understanding how great the offer is, which means people inquire, but they're kind of tentative. So I think we can do a better job to get it out there where it's like, no, I really want to be a part of this. That's what I think that we can do.
Yeah, I understand it. So do you have any specific targeted clients or you target in
terms of a number?
Not the number. I'm just trying to identify the audience type. Like, is it the working professionals, students, or
high performing, performance minded
Mm,
individuals that
yeah.
really have a desire to be fulfilled and content through their output above their aesthetic.
So to finish it off, what is your vision for the Phyz Factory? Where do you want to see the Phyz Factory ultimately?
So I want it to be one of the biggest and best coaching businesses in the world. Now, I'm really careful when I say one of the biggest because I never want it to lose the personal touch. So I always say to my clients, the more people that we bring in, like, don't worry about it getting less personal because we'll just bring in more and more great coaches. So we will definitely, I want to keep that personal element. So the quality of coaching is still there. And we obviously scale it to untold levels. Like that's definitely the goal where we maybe have a physical, tangible facility as well.
Yeah,
All these things come into it, but yeah, definitely a worldwide performance coaching hub.
I really wish you the best of luck of whatever you want to achieve. You'll definitely achieve.
Thanks very
So
much.
if the people wants to find you out, where they can check out.
So you can check out, you can just type in my name on LinkedIn, Jordan Dawes, uh, at Phyz, PHYZ _factory on Instagram, or at Jord Dawes. And also the Clarity Code at the Clarity Code as well. So there's a bunch there to follow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, to be honest, if you head to my Instagram at Jord Dawes, everything's tagged in the bio anyway.
yeah. Anyway, if you're watching it on YouTube, I'll add all the links in the description to reach out to the Jordan if you have any queries and all. Yeah, thank you, Jordan. It was wonderful talking with you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.